Welcome to Racing Nuts TV and the Racing Nuts Radio Network. I'm here with Ray Evernham, one of the inventors and creators of the SRX Series. We're so glad to have you, Ray. Boy, I'll tell you what a great series that you guys have created. I'm really excited about it because I watched the first couple races and I was like, man, this is great. And who came up with this whole concept?
I was really, it's an idea I've been thinking about for a while. I've always felt there's a form. There's space in the motorsports world for a form of motorsports entertainment. And finally got, with the right people, George Pine, who's been a good friend of mine for quite a while now, from Bruin Sports Capital. And then Sandy Montag and the Montag Group out of New York City do a lot of TV stuff. So, we bounced around different formats and ideas, but, this is not a new concept. I mean, Roger Penske and Jay Signori and all those guys did it with IROC in the 70s. And we wanted to try and take that spin on putting the driver personality back into it with equal cars and having a little bit of fun. So it's kind of an IROC 2.0, if you will. And, it's really designed to entertain the fan. The motorsports fan of the 21st century is who we're trying to entertain.
Right. And, I do travel. I mean, I cover Formula One, IndyCar, NHRA, NASCAR. I cover all these things on my shows. And I actually go to a lot of the local tracks like Henry County Motorsports Park. Actually, the Racing Nuts helped Ernie Francis Jr. get his ride out there. He had been bugging for like a month and a half. And every car that we lined him up to be in either got wrecked the week before, transmission went out, engine went out. So we got to the last week, and I finally found a little mod light for him to race. And then he called me that Friday. He goes, man, it's rained out for practice. It was a 3-hour practice. And then I said, listen, you're going to have to be in the race tomorrow. He calls me. He goes, okay, I'll be in the race, but I'm just going to ride around the back. He went out there and won the heat and the feature. And, getting you guys involved in what you're doing is shining a huge light back on the smaller tracks, which they need help, especially after the pandemic and all the stuff everybody went through. These smaller tracks struggle to make it through the other side of this. And what you guys are doing is showing that these smaller tracks, they can actually be fun and entertaining and exciting just as much as other series of motorsports, right?
Well, without them, we have no big motorsports.
That's right.
As simple as that. Without the grassroots and, wherever you look, whether it's Daytona or Indianapolis or, any of the big road courses, the DNA of the short tracks are in there. Everybody's got to start somewhere. And that is what I'm proud of about this series is the fact that we've been able to tie that all together. And we're not just bringing, superstars to television, right? We're bringing superstars to the grassroots and very historical tracks to where superstars grew up. We're here at Eldora this week,
right?
Andretti, Foyt, Unser, a lot of huge names came out of here. Gordon, Stewart, Schrader, a lot of guys that went to Cup too. But the fact that we're here, and we're bringing the Elio Castroneves and the Tony Kanans and the Marco Andretti's, those open wheel guys back. But we've got our NASCAR guys as well. And then, we've got our road racers with Willie T and with Ernie Francis. But we also have Keith Coons, right? As one of our guest crew chiefs, a guy that he owned the Chili Bowl for a long time. Then, Cody Swanson from USAC. I really believe we're the first series and the only series that has really been able to not just come put on a show. We've got short track racing involved all the way to the top, and throughout America, again, drawing that single thread from the as far as you can go to where you start is really key.
It's awesome, I'll tell you, and to see all the superstars hanging out with the other guys. And Cody said yesterday, I had him on a little interview yesterday. He said he's kind of nervous about being out there with all these guys, but once he gets behind the wheel, he's just going to be who he actually is. I told him to just watch out for Paul Tracy, and I think that that's what Willie T. Ribbs said also. I had him on the show. He said, I'm going to watch out for that. Oh, as a matter of fact, Paul Tracy, I owe him one. That's what Willie T. Ribbs said. So it looks like the smack talk is already starting between these guys. It's ended up being a lot of fun. The one thing I wanted to ask you, too, was you listened to the fans. After that first race, you got a bunch of those fans, gave you a bunch of feedback, and you actually made some adjustments on what the fans had asked you to do. That was a miracle. That was awesome. I think it's a great way to go into it and to actually listen to what the fans wanted by, slowing down the format, slowing down the amount of time on the heats and the length of the feature at the same time. You were right on the point with that, Ray. It was awesome to see you do that.
Well, the fans are the most educated people of the sport, period, because they're not, they're not in it fixing cars and everything. They don't need to be. We're doing this for the fans. So when they make good, constructive critique on something that they'd like to see better, we'd be crazy not to take it. They're your best advisors,
right?
And they're the people we need. We need the fans. We need people to fill these grandstands. We need people to watch this show on television. Without them, we have nothing. So we want to make sure that we are giving them what they want. Now, again, you can't listen to every fan, like, hey, I want to put flamethrowers out there. That'd be cool, but I can't really do that.
Well,
but when you look across the board, and if you read the social media and you really listen to your fans, there's some pretty darn good suggestions in there. And by doing those things, we want the fans to feel involved in this. We want the fans to feel like they're partners in this series. And if they've got good input, we're going to listen to it and do it.
Well, if you want more flames and stuff on the track, all you have to do is get some jet dryers and invite Juan Pablo Montoya. I think that'll be the ticket.
You froze up on me, but you said more flames on the track. I'm like, wait a minute.
If you want flamethrowers out there, all you have to do is get some jet dryers and invite Juan Pablo Montoya out there, and you might
and put it out there.
Anyway, I did make the differences between what you do and what the IROC series does. You guys have done more than the IROC series done because you brought the local stars in there, and they're out there with these stars. Now, I didn't see any NHRA stars, and I do have a good friend of mine, one of the co-hosts on my show. He's 8-time Top Fuel world champion Tony Schumacher, that said, I'm going to call smoke and I'm going to get involved in this. So I think that's maybe something you might want to get involved, but he's only used to going in a straight line. So that would be pretty funny. Maybe he could ride back there with Paul Tracy a little bit and make the show real colorful. But I think it's great what you guys are doing. I think that you guys have put something together that's magical. We did add the SRX to our shows. We do 2-hour shows every Saturday morning, and you guys are a big part of that. I want to stay in touch with you throughout the season. What is going to happen after the 6 weeks? That was another question I had for you. You guys started planning on what you're going to do. Is this going to happen once a year or multiple times throughout the year?
Well, let me talk about those drag races for a second.
Okay.
What we're doing there, but we actually talked to a couple of those guys, and there's some of those guys, Cruz and Tony Pedregon, Ron Capps. Some of those guys have got some oval experience, and they're pretty good. Doug Coletta, and I think Tony Schumacher could drive just about anything that he wants to.
He's interesting.
So we're really taking a hard look at maybe having a whole NHRA team next year. Maybe not the same guy in for all the races, but a team made up of NHRA people. So I think that would be really good. Again, our goal is to help enhance all forms of motorsport, and our drag race friends are a big part of American motorsport. So getting those guys involved is not as far-fetched as you might think. As I said, I've raced with Cruz and with Caps here at Eldora, and those guys are pretty good. So you may see an NHRA team across the board. But as far as what we're going to do, we're going to get through these races, hopefully crown a champion and have a good TV rating and have the sponsors lined up to write checks to us for the next year. But we're committed to continually improving week after week after week. So after we end up at Nashville, we're going to throw a big party, drink a few margaritas, and listen to some good music. But then we're going to go home, take everything apart, and start to work on our list. Every week we come with a list of things we would do differently if we had to do it over again. So we're going to modify the cars for some of the things that we saw, go through our stuff, clean it up, and get ready for next year. We really want to add road racing to our events next year. So, again, we'd love to be what IROC did. I think Roger Penske and J.C. Nuri, Les Richter, all the people involved there, Mike Phelps, the people that did the original IROC, that thing ran for 30 years. So if this runs for 30 years, I'm going to be in my 90s, so I probably won't be at the helm, but I'll be sitting in the nursing home somewhere watching it.
I'll be next to you.
Yeah. We'd certainly like to just want to keep it rolling. As I said, we need the fans because without the fans, can't keep it going. So if they're turning on their TV and they're buying tickets, we'll keep it rolling.
Well, we're going to post all this on our social media, and we're going to play it on the Racing Nuts Radio Network on Saturday morning, and all of our clients all across the world and iHeartRadio nationwide. So you're going to be a big part of our show. We want to continue to keep the SRX involved with the Racing Nuts Radio Network and Racing Nuts TV, so that people can see from the inside. And Ray, thank you so much for spending your time with me. And as we get a little closer to the end of this thing, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you again. You are one of the greats of all time, and want to get Tony Stewart lined up. I definitely want to get Paul Tracy on before this thing's all over with. I gotta let the. You need to
get PT, because he is. When you talk about Paul and Willie, I want to tell you what, I want to promote that, because man, there's two big guys right there like that. Right. That would be a battle royale if they got into it. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, if they start fighting, I ain't breaking that one up. I ain't getting in the middle of that. I'm too skinny for that.
You got to put that on pay-per-view and take advantage of that, because Willie was on my show last weekend, and he says, that Paul, he spun me all the way across the infield. I didn't even know which way I was going by the time I started steering again. He's got one coming to him, and I'm going to make sure we get it together, though. So he wasn't very happy with Paul Tracy, but Paul Tracy's been on our show before. We got to keep our finger on the button, because he kind of said the S word while we were doing a show down in downtown Miami years ago. So I think he'll be a great person to have on the show. I think I'll line him up next. And we can't wait to see what happens this weekend in Eldora, the dirt track. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Wide open. And watch out, Ernie Francis Jr. now. He's sitting second in the points. He's done a really good job. And he's a youngster, but he's from my hometown, and we've been following his career since he was 13 years old. And that kid's something else. He knows how to get it done. But I think last week he ate up his equipment a little bit too quickly. And Haley Deegan was telling me she kind of saved on to her equipment, and she waited till the last minute to burn it up. Maybe that left rear tire kind of got burned up, or the right rear, whichever one it was. But she saved her equipment, got that pass done in the last lap. And that's something that Ernie Jr. needs to learn about dirt. You got to save your equipment till you get there. This weekend will be a big test for him.
Yeah, let me tell you, both those kids did a fantastic job. Ernie Francis, one of the reasons I picked him is, I did a little bit of road racing, and I got to know that kid, and I thought to myself, this kid is something special. He deserves a shot. And I think through our SRX, people are starting to notice that. Guys like Elio Castroneves and Paul Tracy are pushing hard for this kid. He is this is one of those that really deserves a shot, because he's talented, he's good, and he works hard. And the same with Haley. I'm going to tell you, Haley, she's a kid. But she went in there and she put that helmet on, man, and she was
something else.
I thought at one point she was going to spin out Stewart, which I thought that would have been great for TV, but both of those kids, if you look at the podium, if you add both of them together, Tony was still older than both of them.
You had to
together,
go.
So we were busting them on that, but those kids did a great job. They really did.
Yeah, they sure did. And what a great series you put together, Ray. Hopefully I'll have the time to be able to hook up with you as the season winds down, so we get close to maybe predicting who the champion is this year. One more thing, Bill Elliott, what's he got, a hex on him? Every single week.
Man, that breaks my heart. That's killing me. Bill's one of my best friends, and I'll tell you the truth. The first night there was an electrical problem with that car, not caused by our guys, and felt terrible about it.
Right.
So last week it was a different problem, same deal with the fuel issue, but that was caused by all of the work that we did during the week. We had the whole fuel system out of that car. And, when it got put back together, there was a little issue. We found another problem. That one we're going to chalk up to human error. So, truthfully, we're giving Bill a whole brand new car this week.
There you go.
We're confident that we've got that purple car fixed. We're going to make it into a practice car. But, I will tell you, and again, it's my responsibility, so I accept that responsibility for all the Elliott out there. But most of the time, when you get burned on a deal like this, it comes from a part or product that your people didn't make. And that's exactly what's happened to us twice now.
But the same car, that's the weird part.
Same car.
Yeah, that's the weird part. Well, anyway,
but you got to, we took it so far apart with the first night, we put all these new parts in it. Right. And one of those new parts we put in wasn't worth a darn.
Oh my God. So it'll get better this weekend. Have a blast in Eldora. The Racing Nuts will be talking about you guys tomorrow or Saturday morning on the radio show. You're going to be all over our social media. Anything to say to the race fans out there, Ray, before we get started with this?
Hey man, this is for you and you enjoy it, keep those suggestions coming, but tell your friends about it, because we need you buying tickets and we need you turning your TVs on to us.
We need a Southern kind of thing. We got to get us down here in South Florida, maybe up through Texas and Alabama and all the southern states, maybe next up.
Yeah, South Florida's not Southern. What are you doing? South Florida. Southern. Come on, man. That's like me saying, hey, I'm from South Jersey. That doesn't make me Southern.
No, Florida's like South. I'm sorry. Jersey's like cold. We're not cold. See the ceiling fans behind me?
I was in South Jersey though. That's why I'm a good NASCAR guy, because I'm actually from South Jersey.
Thank you so much, Ray. You're the best. And stay in touch. We'll get back with you. And good luck this weekend. Keep it on cars on the track. Keep all of them out there. And let's watch that little rivalry between Willie T. Ribbs and Paul Tracy. It's going to be great.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much, Ray.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.